Hey everyone, very nice to see you here. My name is Fabian, I'm from Berlin, and I'm here to tell you about my summer. So, first of all, my background, I have some years of experience as a software engineer, but I also have a background in traditional finance, and I also have some experience as a product manager. I have worked in lots of different positions, but also teams and different companies, different setups, different environments, especially since I've been working as a freelancer since 2016. I've seen lots of different projects, so most of them were pretty interesting, but why am I working on Bitcoin now? Bitcoin to me is the most interesting software project that I've worked on in my life so far. And it also is the one that has the most meaning to me because it solves a problem, or it can solve lots of problems for people that no other company or product can solve. And I've been running a full load now for a couple of years. I've been hacking some application layer stuff on Lightning. Probably my most the thing that I'm most proud of is this vending machine that you can see here that runs on Lightning. And I've been doing some other things on my free time up until now when I got accepted to the residency. So when I got accepted to residency, I actually had the plan to, or let's say the preference to work on Lightning. That was my thought coming here. But the introductory phase that Jonas mentioned kind of made me change my mind because as I learned more about Bitcoin Core and also understood some more of the code, I saw patterns emerging in Bitcoin Core that I had seen from projects that I had been involved in, and so I felt more and more that I could be bigger to Bitcoin Core actually than to any of the Lightning implementations. So what I wanted to do in the summer, of course, was getting a good understanding of the Bitcoin Core code base. I wanted to become as productive as possible. So for me, that meant also building up more C++ proficiency. I had not been a professional C++ developer before, so that's something that I had to work on. I wanted to build up efficient workflows, and I also wanted to get first contributions into Bitcoin Core and document that process as well, because that was one of the things that I saw that I was here with other newcomers to the code base, and I saw common things that they were struggling on, and it helps me to document my process. And so I thought they and also other people that are coming after us can profit from it the same way. And I also wanted to work on a bigger project that is going to be useful for Bitcoin Core in the long run. So here's what I did. I wrote a blog post that already started in this introductory phase that Jonas mentioned about SegWit and the quadratic SigHash problem, which was something that I had pretty much forgotten about when SegWit was actually implemented, and I just dug into that topic and hadn't written a blog post in a long time, so that's something that I did. I also started a custom signet that implements any prep out, and that was actually an idea by AJ Towns about something that I could do. So that was actually not, or a much smaller project than I thought, and I haven't done much with it since, but yeah, it's still running. And I have taken down lots of the things that I've learned, especially about debugging, and I also given a talk on it. You can see my documentation on it following this bit.ly link here. And then, as I mentioned, I wanted to work on Bitcoin Core specifically. I wanted to get first contributions in, so I achieved that with 2 merged PRs so far. One is a small test fix, the other one is improvement. And I participated in a lot of code reviews, especially thanks to John's PR Review Club. And I worked on one larger project, as I mentioned, and this is the rolling UTXO hash, which I will tell you more about now. So the rolling UTXO hash, it's pretty much all in the name already. It is another view on the chain state by hashing up the whole UTXO set into one value, which you can then compare with your peers and see if you're in sync. So you can access this UTXO set hash by calling the RPC call gettx outset info. RPC calls are a way to interact with Bitcoin full nodes. In case you're not running a full node yourself, you might not know this. And this is currently not, does not have a sufficient user experience. You call it and it actually takes several minutes to respond, and there's no feedback, there's no asynchronicity, and this is also the reason why I think this is not being used very much. And the only actual use case that I could find is in FastSync of BTC Pay Server, where it's used to compare the download UTXO set hash, the download UTXO set with it from another peer. So this was actually not my idea, but actually an idea by Peter Willer. He proposed an update to a rolling UTXO set hash in 2017. He sent a mail to the mailing list of Bitcoin and proposed this. And he also looked at several different ways of hashing this UTXO set, something that I will go into a little bit later. He also implemented one of these hashing functions that he suggested in muhash and opened a PR to Bitcoin Core. But unfortunately, this was not yet actually implementing any rolling functionality, and so it didn't really constitute any actual improvement. And there were also seemingly not that many people interested in it, so he got in total 2 reviewers or so, and so he closed that PR after about 6 months. And yeah, so this was kind of forgotten until now because it just didn't receive enough attention, and I thought that would be a good opportunity for me. So why did I want to work on it? I first of all saw the immediate benefit that we could get from this upgrade to improve the usability of that RPC call. That RPC call, by the way, does not only include this UTXO set hash, but it also includes other information about the UTXO set that you maybe want to get access to, and you don't want to wait for the hashing of the UTXO set. And also, once you receive this UTXO set, if it takes several minutes to compute, it might already be out of date again. So that just creates a whole set of other problems. Potential use cases for this, there are not that many, but for example, it could be used in Assume UTXO as summing up the state of the UTXO set. Something that could lead to a development of further use cases is that given that this is not a huge DOS vulnerability anymore, you can then expose it on the peer-to-peer layer. And another thing that motivated me to work on this was that it touches lots of different parts of the system. So creating a very good learning opportunity for me. I mentioned that Peter Willer discussed different hashing functions, and there was one of these learning opportunities that I saw in this project. So there are different hashing functions that have the properties that we need in order to create a performant rolling UTXO set hash. The one that Peter Willer himself implemented is muhash, which simply multiplies hashed functions over the finite set. Then there is ECMH, which hashes values to a curve. ECMH stands for elliptic curve multiset hash. And this was implemented in SecP 256K1 last year by Thomas van der Wansem. And I was able to rebase that PR and make it work in Bitcoin Core. And so this is another alternative. And then there's LT hash. This is using lattice cryptography. And I was able to take the implementation in the Folly library by Facebook as kind of a role model and implemented this in Bitcoin myself. So unfortunately, my PR is not yet in Bitcoin, and it's not even opened yet. So I'm still working on it. Specifically, I still have to get better benchmarking, and I need to get some more feedback before I can actually propose this to the list. So this has to be approached with some caution, because if you're proposing something that Peter Willer has already proposed and he wasn't successful, then you kind of have to put some thought into it. And there are also some design decisions where I'm looking or going looking for feedback then in the review process. One of those was, for example, using LevelDB for storage versus flat file storage, and using base index in contrast to hooking into the validation interface directly. So what do I want to work on going forward after the residency that sadly ends tomorrow? I want to work on my project, of course. I want to finish that. That's going to be probably more a matter of a few weeks in terms of focused work on it, and then there's going to be a review process that is going to require me to still be present and continue to do to help and to discuss and to do improvements. And aside from that, I mentioned in the beginning that my experiences have given me kind of insights into patterns that I can see in Bitcoin Core that I've seen in other projects that I've worked on. And so these are things to work on. These are common bottlenecks in Bitcoin Core. These are not huge projects like Taproot or so that are super exciting to many people, but these are things that are very important, I think, and that's why they are exciting to me. I want to work on improving the test coverage. I want to do code reviews. I want to do small bug fixes and improvements, even things that are specifically hard to reproduce, hard to write tests for. These are things that often small contributors, people that don't do this as their main job, are struggling to fix, and so that's what I want to work on. This includes also documentation, and as I already did with the debugging documentation and presentation, I want to kind of further document my process of getting into Bitcoin Core and then present it in a way that it's helpful to other beginners. And yeah, do you have any questions?